The North Sydney Bears hit the field. I wonder who has the keys to the door to that grand final entry for this season. Mario Fenech, again with that habit of his of flashing himself before he takes the field for the action. Tony Ray firing up this North Sydney lineup. What a long wait it's been. And also the wait for the Penrith Panthers. Can they do what they couldn't only just this time last year? Royce Simmons, what a great club man for the Penrith side. And here he is with a chance to exit in a real triumph from the game in '91. Good crowd here at the stadium. And the Bears, who were out early onto the field, Conlon, Kiss, Florimo, Jackson, Halligan, Martin, Soden are the backs. The forwards of Moore, Larson, Fenech, Toole, Ray Jarvis. The coach is Steve Martin. Now the minor premiers, Barwick at fullback, Mackay, Izzard, Fittler, Smith, Carter, Alexander, Vandervoort, Walker, Geyer, Dunn, Simmons, Clark. The coach is Phil Gould. The referee for this major semi-final and the chance to the grand final this season is Eddie Ward. Brad Fittler, tremendously skillful player for Penrith, out in the centres for this major semi. Little Jason Martin, one half of the dynamic little duo for the Bears, wearing the 6 and 7. Great battle looming between them and also Alexander and Carter. Eddie Ward about to settle the nerves of 26 of the best in the Winfield Cup. The first touch will belong to Gary Larson. 15 metres out from his own line. The Bears bringing it away through Martin. Their last grand final appearance was 1922.
There'll be some sting in this one early with Fenech and Geyer short of lock horns, more likely sooner than later.
Jackson gets it to 32 metres away. A little bit of sunshine trying to sneak through the cloud cover. But beautiful conditions for rugby league. This ball bouncing easily for Barwick. But a good line from the Bears, and they trap Penrith 30 out from their line. Smith brings it away. Just the one clash between these two sides in '91, and it was a hard-fought tussle in round 14. 8-0 to the Panthers.
There's always a lot of unknowns in a game of football, and the unknown for Penrith is the fact they haven't played a hard game against a semi-finalist since June the 30th, and that was that game against North Sydney. They're going into this a little bit underdone.
Alexander with the kick. Getting away from Conlon towards the sideline. Beautiful touch for him to start this semi-final. Brings the Panthers to their feet in the crowd. He tried to get it as deep into that pocket to try and trap the Bears as was possible, but a beautiful roll on the end of it. And this scrum to go down 5 metres out. Well, that sun is clearly coming out now. But just like yesterday, Wayne Pearce, great conditions for the teams.
Yes, super conditions. In fact, the crowd's probably a bit bigger than it was yesterday. In fact, all public seating was sold out just after midday today. There's a block of seats just behind the Penrith goal, which is reserve seating, but all public seats have gone. Fantastic conditions and a great atmosphere.
How do you see it?
Well, it's going to be pretty tough for Penrith to back up after that. Not, as Billy pointed out, we can see here on the replay that a penalty goes against Penrith for infringement in the play of the ball, quite clearly so. But Penrith are backing up in this match after a week's layoff, and they've got a few guys coming in that haven't played too much football. They'll do it tough, but I think they're strong enough to win.
Jarvis. The Bears have lost the last 7 encounters against Penrith. This is the first time they have ever met in finals football, the first time they have ever met outside of their own home grounds.
And none of that means anything in a game like this.
It's headquarters, it's pressure, and it's a chance to make your way to the grand final. Otherwise, you'll be backing up next Sunday, same place, against the defending champs, the Canberra Raiders.
The fact that Penrith never played last week, I think it's probably going to take them about 20 minutes to get some cobwebs out.
Last tackle for Jackson to kick. Trying to chip into open space, but it's an easy one for Mackay. Across the paddock. Beautifully tackled low by Jason Martin. Vandervoort out of dummy half with a good run. Great break. Quickly out of that area. And he was up with a smart play the ball as well. Dunn. Taken in strong defence. Will be interesting in the forwards to see the clash of Fennick. And also Billy Moore against the likes of Mark Geyer.
And interesting to note, Graham, that John Cartwright is a fresh reserve as well, and but he won't be used unless Penrith are in a desperate situation.
Handy man to have in such circumstances. Kiss stepping. But straight into the arms of Vandervoort. Cartwright nervously looking on.
I suppose you ask the question, if they do win, does he then get a start in the grand final?
That would be a difficult one for Phil Gould. But again, coming from the bench, he really is an impact player.
Well, under the rules of interchange, where you can bring players on and off, he'd be dynamic.
As is this man, Jackson. Back for Conlon. Looking to come off the side of the boot, but he'll take it. As it gets across the sideline right on the 22, he shakes his head. But they still have Penrith down on their own danger zone. Looking on, the New South Wales captain, Jeff Lawson, celebrating with family the fact that this will be his testimonial year. We wish him well. And a great sportsman for his country. Now Mackay on the 22. Centre field wrestling with Conlon. Both sides looking for an early mistake. Ward trying to keep the Bears back. He had a lot to say to the Bears back on the blind side.
You talk about mistakes. Well, that's been the feature of both of these sides' play. They play so precisely. They make few errors. They give you little to work off.
32 away from their own line, Penrith. Walker wrapped up quickly by Jarvis. 0-0, the Bears and the Panthers. Alexander looking inside Barwick. Sweating on him was Adrian Toole. One more tackle. Alexander gets his kick in cleanly. One bounce back towards Conlon, though away from the sideline. Conlon gets through. Great run. They left the door open for him. Les Kiss comes off his wing smartly too. Gets into dummy half. Jackson with a chance out wide. Standing, still looking to unload. He does so. Just short of halfway. Billy Moore will play it. He had a super game last week. Fennick with one of those charges of his that really does lift this Bear outfit.
There's a man who lives for finals football.
Florimo. Shoulder charge over the top. Didn't really find its mark from Geyer. He bounced out of it easily. Now Tony Ray. What a hole up the middle. 20 metres out. The Bears with the first real opportunity. Jarvis was in the way, wasn't expecting it. Midfield bomb. Barwick under pressure. Halligan's there. He takes it cleanly. But a good passage of play from Norths, who found some real holes.
Just a few nervous flutters there for the Panthers, but Greg Barwick saved a dangerous situation.
Quick restart for Clark. But there were signs there that there were some holes up the middle, behind the play the ball.
There's some of those cobwebs we were talking about.
And those holes were forced by extremely quick play the balls from North Sydney. They're working on that part of their game very, very closely.
This is the day where you have a chance to proceed straight to the grand final. It happened in the lower grades. And some teams would be celebrating, like Parramatta in the President's Cup with their win over West. Likewise, Canberra over the same outfit, Western Suburbs. Carter! Carter gets away. Great ball back from Mackay, but he couldn't handle it. Carter showed his skills there. So, some worries for both sides.
This is starting out like yesterday. Very open.
Thank God. Billy Moore. Congratulations to both Manly and Canberra for a super performance yesterday. What great entertainment. Jarvis now.
You spoke about that teams going straight into the grand final. Will you ever forget that game last year? This was the game. Penrith beat Canberra in extra time, 30-12, and Alexander shone.
It certainly was Alexander's great day. Florimo now getting it for Toole. Finished off over the top by Clark. It's on the last tackle. Soden putting up another bomb. Players look to be in front, so they have to stay back to 10. Soden does his own chasing and a good tackle. Mackay. He beats Moore. No, he doesn't. Moore just hangs on. Right in front of their own posts. Smith. Beautifully grasped by Mario Fennick. Now a penalty against the Bears. Now Eddie Ward is also calling over Fittler for a bit of a caution and a bit of a warning. Not sure what that's all about.
Well, you'll see what the penalty's for. The tackle made there by Fennick, but it was Pat Jarvis, I believe, who came in a bit late. Martin beat him to it there. Then Jarvis came in over the top and put his hand on him, and referee Eddie Ward got them both for the late tackle.
The minor premiers, this Penrith Panther outfit, the best attack and defence in the Winfield Cup. The statistics certainly say that this is the side. Well and truly deserves favouritism. Les Kiss getting some running repairs. Dunn and Fennick come together in a big hit. Geyer trying to unload. North saying that he lost the ball. He did. Throws it into the ground. The Bears players were calling for it.
It's things like this that can put Mark Geyer off. He's gone into the game with an injury. He's very much a confidence player. He was looking to offload there and fumbled.
Toole hits it up the middle.
And gets hit.
Now through the legs of Tony Ray. But they still have time to go to the backs. 0-0, the Bears and the Panthers. Jackson, nobody in that area. Just a little bit too long to kick though. He had chases. It's set up nicely for Barwick to put Smith away down the sideline. Now he hunts in field. Finished off over the top by Jackson. Clark. Eddie Ward had played a fairly long advantage. And now he gives the penalty right in midfield to Penrith. They take their time as Alexander thinks about goal. Now they decide to go for points. Phil Gould, who won the premiership in 1988 with Canterbury Bankstown, then last year denied in the grand final by Canberra, and Steve Martin, the Norths coach, high in the stand also.
And Steve Martin's made a change too, Graham. David Hall is on the field for Les Kiss, who has an injured knee.
I should say Martin's up there hiding somewhere. David Hall gets out on there. Alexander, 41 metres out, right in front.
Claims he loves kicking out here at the football stadium.
He has 43 from 64 and a solid percentage of 67.18 for 1991. Meets it beautifully. Straight down the barrel. The minor premiers grab the early break. It is 2-0 over Norths. Tons and tons of support here from out west, from the foot of the Blue Mountains, for the Penrith side. Halligan, the man who Penrith certainly won't be wanting to give too many opportunities to at goal. Restarts things for North Sydney. Smith. The 25th anniversary year for the Panthers. What a celebration it would be. to do it all with a grand final victory in a couple of weeks. Vandervoort confidently working it away from their own danger zone. Now Walker.
Good example here of how Greg Alexander's changed his game. He used to be just a brilliant individual, but now he's more concerned with leadership and direction. But he'll still cut loose if you give him a chance.
And unfortunately, there's still critics that claim that he's a choker in these big matches. But last year in this corresponding match, the major semi-final, he scored 20 points and tore Canberra apart.
Yeah, that was when he came of age that day.
Ball bouncing back towards the Penrith chasers. They retreat a further 10 as Hall picks it up. Halligan. North's looking for some runners. Jarvis is there to ease the burden. Ball was thrown across Fennick for Adrian Toole, who had difficulty in taking it in. Billy Moore. Just into Penrith territory. Conlon kicking, looking for the in goal away from Bowie, but it takes a big break and sits up for him. Gets through the tackle of Martin, but finished off by Jarvis. Izzard stepping inside. Martin gets a free ride on his back. Walker running with the support of Carter. It's even the simple things like that that can often produce a break where players, especially inside backs, just give plenty of support to their forwards. Now, Fennick was standing over a player here, and all the Panthers rushed in. Ball came loose here. The penalty went against Fennick.
Yeah, before the start of this game, Graham, at the toss, Eddie Ward had strong words to both captains about two things. One, the play the ball. He wanted quick play the balls, and he wanted the players released immediately. And the other thing is the 5 metres. And he said those two areas are the areas that he's going to police stringently, and he'll be taking the relevant action if he's not getting what he wants.
Yeah, he's doing just that. Simmons to Alexander and Smith, who has been heavily involved off his wing. Clark gets a great ball away to Fittler. 3-1 the penalties to the Panthers. And with the help of those, they're getting a bit of a roll on. Walker. Beat the first tackle, now he drags 3 more into it.
Yeah, this is their strength, that advantage line play where they just keep charging forward at you.
Alexander. He gets support from Fittler. He gets it back to Geyer. Geyer to Walker. Geyer had support on the outside. I should say Walker did. Last tackle. Alexander, the man to watch. Little chip back across field for Conlon. He read it. Now he's taken by Izzard. Now Carter is there in the play of the ball. Will he be penalised? It's Izzard. Now he's injured. And again, this rule raises its head about the contention.
I think Izzard was out to it before he even hit the ground.
Well, I think he copped an elbow, Bill, when he made the tackle. Now, Eddie Ward moves the penalty away from where Izzard is receiving treatment. He comes in on Conlon to make the tackle. And no doubt he copped it just under the chin. Adrian Toole. Izzard's back into the line as Jarvis hits it up. Fennick. That's the way to get over that advantage line, and Eddie Ward says to the Panthers that they weren't back behind him. This will be Halligan's first chance. Fennick takes time out. He might have to take time out elsewhere, as Halligan has to set the ball up right alongside him. He's okay. Halligan with a similar attempt to Alexander.
You remember that great South African, Freddie Griffiths? Well, he scored 181 points in a season for Norths. Halligan's now passed him with 184.
Well, that has to be reset up, Bill, because Fred Griffiths, in fact, was 188 and 189. That's been reinformed from the North Sydney club. He still has to find 6 more points to get past him.
We might see it broken today.
Yeah, great chance for him. Apparently, they checked their records and they had to include a pre-season competition, which was official in those days.
Fred rang STD.
This man has shown tremendous ability. Didn't meet this one quite the way he would have wished. Puts it wide. The score remains 2-0 to Penrith. Alexander. Dragged by Jarvis. He said, come back here. Done up the middle. It's becoming a very tough encounter amongst the forwards. Vandervoort. Good defence head on from Larson.
There was a lot of ball movement in the first 5 or 6 minutes, but that's settled down now.
Geyer getting very wide. That's where he causes real damage. Now, underneath all that was Fennick. It's taken a while for them to get together. Conlon with plenty of time. Gets an awkward bounce. Now he sizes up the situation. Straight into Vandervoort. Oh, steps out of one. Tries to duck under another, but Fittler gets him. Midway through this first half, Geyer with a swinging arm in the tackle. Just the 2 points in it. Right on halfway. Difficult ball to Jackson. Soden originally called for it. It went across him to Jackson, but it was very low down around his ankles.
In a game of this import, it can rest on a mistake you made that's an unforced one, and that was just the result of a bad pass.
Now Geyer called over. I called only a moment ago about a swinging arm in a tackle. It was also the resentment of a Fennick tackle. So a couple of little incidents, and now the warning came from Eddie Ward. Penrith with the feed right on halfway. Smith. The scrums are all square. Alexander brings Barwick in. He slips. He was well and truly covered by Jackson. Now he's in trouble. Walker. Grabbing at a hip. Vandervoort. Dunn goes without. Fittler steps magnificently. Great ball. Izzard gets it to Carter. Carter just ran out of support, but the defence got there. That was brilliant play. Alexander, try chance here. Out wide to Smith. Again suit the defence. Now, Eddie Ward has rolled the handover on the last. Magnificent defence from the Bears to get there twice. They looked gone, but twice they got there. Great recovery.
Penrith threw everything at them. They look like they had them shot to pieces on 3 or 4 occasions. You'll see the long pass coming up from Alexander over the top to Smith. He had space to work in, but the cover defence was just too strong.
Magnificent tackle from David Hall.
And a change for Penrith as well. Greg Barwick is limped from the field. Anthony Zureb has replaced him.
I've got my eyes on Zureb as Barwick goes up the tunnel. Zureb is only 10 metres out from his own line. He was way too deep as a fullback.
When you haven't played in a stadium like this, you can tend to lose your bearings, particularly in a game of this importance.
I was just thinking he will have to get them, Bill, because they had a front line of defence and there was nobody in cover, so it was an open field for about 60, 70 metres.
And it won't take a player like Peter Jackson too long to read that.
Izzard,
who keeps running at Jason Martin.
It was great play from Fittler and Carter and Izzard to nearly lay on that try. Now, Jarvis and also Geyer had a disagreement. Fennick is also being called out. And Eddie Ward wants somebody else. This time it's Simmons. Just a few little frustrations. A bit of niggling coming into it. Fennick was late there with a swinging left arm. Just out of shot, it was Jarvis who also took a swing at Mark Geyer.
The opportunity to be first into a grand final's too much for them.
Well, Alexander makes that incredible mistake of not finding touch. Nothing like it, is there? Pressure in semi-final football. 2-0 to the Panthers. Larson.
You tell the brain to settle down and the mind just keeps whirring.
Big occasion, the blood does flow a bit quickly. Soden. Chance for the Bears in the backs. Billy Moore threw it to nobody. Luckily it just sat up for David Hall. Adrian Toole. He caught it on the last and said, I may as well have a kick. It's not a bad bomb. Zurib goes up and good chasing from Soden. That's good take.
He might have had his bearings when he first went on, but he never took his eye off that one.
Alexander called for it quickly, and he uses up Mackay. Now we've found Steve Martin, and he's doing a lot of chatting to the sideline to send out some instructions for his team. Vandervoort. Alexander. No give and take at all in this major semi-final. And a couple of errors from Penrith all of a sudden puts them under real pressure. Handover for the Bears in excellent position. Hall down a blindside. Right on the 22. Plenty of tackles up their sleeve. Jarvis. They look to be just setting up. Some easy plays towards the posts. Jackson is going in behind the play of the ball. Billy Moore is there. Adrian Toole sets himself. Crisscross play. Jackson up the middle and nearly got through too. They set it up beautifully now. Tony Ray from dummy half. He's just short. Last tackle. Soden. He hammered the ball, and standing at silly mid-off was Barry Walker.
You can put that down to reflexes because he never had any time to think about it.
I put it down to luck, Bill.
Anybody who fields there wears a helmet. Great take from Barry Walker. He just drilled it, Soden bang, straight into him.
Great reaction.
And he has another touch as he tries to bring it away. Done. Heavy tackling from Toole and also Fennick. Simmons scurry from dummy half. Last tackle. Their kicking game erratic in the last couple of minutes, Penrith.
Since Barwick's gone off, he's normally the option to Alexander.
Alexander didn't find touch from a penalty, but now he does magnificently from general play. What is that report on Barwick, Wayne?
He has deep-seated bruising on the hip, and he's got his hip in ice at the moment, and it's doubtful whether he'll return.
Most of their good football, Bill, I must say, has been with Barwick this year at fullback.
He's a very talented player. He came from Canterbury, and he seems to have grown another leg. He certainly has improved his pace.
And he's given a real drive from the back, joining in.
And the super sub Gavin Jones is on the sideline. He's about to take the field in place of Pat Jarvis.
So Jarvis off. Jones out there to throw his weight behind this North Sydney pack. He's got plenty of it.
1986, he'd have been a certain kangaroo tourist.
He has experienced state of origin football.
And a broken arm denied him.
Tony Ray switches it to Conlon. Overall possession just favours the Panthers. As Jones gets his first touch in the opposition half. It is nearly 2-1 to the Bears, though. Soden trying to do an Alexander. Rushing this one towards the sideline. He's learning pretty well. Tit for tat.
You know you've only got the ball for 6 tackles. You've got to give it to the opposition, either a handover or scrum. But what a great bonus when you can give them the ball where you want them to have it. 10 metres out from their own line.
Alexander, I should say Geyer, back to this scrum slowly. But Alexander with the feed, most importantly. Didn't even have to hook for it, did they? That's a good example of it. Mackay. Obviously Simmons didn't strike at all. Fennick with a swinging high tackle. He will be told, maybe for the last time, about this one.
Well, this is caution 3 or 4. Mario, it's time to settle down. There's the tackle over the top. There wasn't any malice in it, but it was high.
The fist wasn't clenched at all. It was an open hand, but it is still way too dangerous. Alexander, they've all got a sweat up out there. And Penrith still looking a little bit rusty in parts.
Yeah, it's very humid down here, Graham, and I'm sure that will take its toll in the second half. I'm sure the game will open up a lot more in the second half.
Done. You would think, Bill, the longer it goes, the more enjoyable for North Sydney.
They're the ones that experienced the hard matches in the last 7 weeks. Penrith haven't, but Penrith are still good enough to overcome that.
Carter switches. The call came from Fittler. The real clean break that Penrith have made belonged to Fittler. Now from dummy half, put down from Zurev, just trying to rush things. He took off before he really had control of the ball.
This time Penrith's turn to make an unforced error and North's to get a chance with the ball.
Yeah, Zurev there saw that the markers weren't in position. He took off before he had the ball. If he had held it, there was a lot of yardage there. And on the sideline we see Ben Alexander about to take the field, and he'll go on for Royce Simmons.
Ball came straight back out.
At least it went in.
Now Halligan. Now let's remember that next Sunday is the preliminary final. The loser of this one will take on the Canberra Raiders. The whole game, the match in full, 6 p.m. right here on 10 Sport. Billy Moore. Martin. Ducking, weaving, getting through. Last tackle against North Sydney. Jackson, shaped as if he was going to kick, gets a ball away now for Larson. Martin again, kicking ahead. He'll find the sideline. Absolutely nothing in it as they sweat on each other to really come apart. 2-0 to the Panthers.
Royce doesn't want to come off because Ben Alexander's yelling to him from the sideline, but Royce wants to pack in and win this scrum.
He's done that pretty easily. 3-2, those handling errors against Penrith. Zurev into the line. North's trying to keep them in tight. Fennick again looking for one of those hammering tackles over the top on Vandervoort. Simmons. I wonder if he is aware of the fact that Alexander awaits him on the sideline.
He's got a hearing problem if he's not, because I can assure you Ben's yelling at the top of his voice.
One more tackle. Alexander drives this one low and hard. Conlon with plenty of time. Taken by Izzard. Still they can't get Simmons over to the sideline as Hall goes from dummy half. Toole. A lot of one-out running, Bill. Not a lot of support amongst the forwards.
Yeah, the 5 metres isn't as great as I'd like to see it. It's turning into a game that's not getting much further than 10 metres either side of the play of the ball. But as the defence is tired, it will open up.
The penalty had to come. Now Simmons finally heeds the call. He gets over to bring on Ben Alexander. Now Jackson was looking for the quick play of the ball, and they dragged him down. So the Bears, the fans have been waiting for 32 minutes. Now they start to roar with the possibility of a try. Jones. Wrestled to the ground by Clark. He resented it. Not a big 5 metres in that play the ball.
This is just the setup. There's something to come.
Way offside on the blind side, Penrith, but that's where North Sydney switch it. Billy Moore got a ball away. If it had been a good one, Florimo was into a half gap. Soden, Ray, Larson. Somebody's got to run. They were all standing too flat. Now they do Martin. That went forward, I think. It did. David Hall brought everybody to their feet, but now they'll all sit back down as they come back to where Eddie Ward spotted the forward.
It looked like it was forward in running, but the key thing, Oz, is maybe the long pass never had to be thrown. If Peter Jackson had stayed on the outside, that would have been a simple 2-on-1 and 4 points at the end of it.
Great opportunity gone. Zureb now. 6.5 minutes from half-time. 2-0, Penrith over Norths.
It's gone quickly, so it must be good.
Clark. Switch of play from the Penrith side. Walker. One hand, he gets it back to Ben Alexander, he slips. Carter with the kick. There's another option to Alexander. Conley. A lot of space between him and the defence. But good chasing now from Izzard and a strong tackle. Halligan. Another tackle from Izzard. Jones. Straight over the top of Vandervoort. That hurt. Jason Martin starting to look and chance his arm a bit.
He's not that big, Jason Martin, but he knows how to use what he's got.
Jackson. Jackson. The way he carries the ball can worry teams. He's such a tall man. Last tackle.
You've got to lock the ball up totally on Jackson, or he can just get it around the back to support.
Mackay and Zureb go back to support each other. A good, strong line of defence in front of them. Talking of tackles, those missed tackles going against the Bears, 6-4.
And you contrast that with the number of missed tackles yesterday, and you can see that there's two completely different styles of play. Yesterday, both teams were prepared to throw the ball around in their own territory. Today, both teams prepared to work for field position and content to set up for plays later on in the match.
Fittler.
And maybe a dash of individual brilliance, Wayne.
Yeah, certainly that's going to come into it, and I suppose on that front, you've got to say that Penrith have got more individual match winners than Norths.
Here's a chance on the wings. Mackay. Inside Soden. Mackay was plenty of support. Alexander under the post. There's no doubt about it. They can do it just like Canberra. Just when you think you might be gaining an advantage over them, just when you think you've got them where you want them down the other end, they come up from deep. On the MMI replay, Alexander starts it. Great cutout ball, knowing that they had an extra man. Now the defence was getting across in numbers, but they all went missing as Mackay went infield, and reading it superbly was Alexander. No one was going to catch this man. He starts and completes.
If it's a dash of individual brilliance you're looking for, no better than this man, Greg Alexander. He got the long ball out that started it. Nice catch and pass there from Izzard onto Mackay. Now, Mackay looked like he might have lost his way, but he headed back in field, and then the natural assets of Greg Alexander just took over. He loomed up, took that pass, and sped away from the defence to put it under the black dot.
And if you're going to be the goal kicker, why not look after yourself and score them right under the post? "11 metres out and right in front. All eyes on the kicker, including the coaches. It's a nice advantage now for the minor premiers. They break it on the MMI big game to 8-0 over Norths. A little bit of dancing going on just before the break and that important last 5 minutes before half-time. Halligan to get things underway.
That was crucial because the field position was starting to go North's way, and then out of nowhere, Penrith strike at them.
Paul Smith. It was so costly yesterday for Manly against Canberra. A try just before half-time and a try just after half-time proved the big difference. Geyer with a strong run.
It's a handful when he winds up.
Then Alexander. Right on halfway now, Penrith. Fittler, he comes into his own. Gets it back. Ben Alexander. Taken by Fennick. Crowd thinking that that one was high as well. Alexander. Inside. Walker. Back to Alexander. North's in trouble here just before half-time. They're in a ton of trouble. No doubt about it. The minor premiers have locked into top gear. And having a big hand in it all is Greg Alexander. On the MMI replay, North's looking to tire. Walker was allowed to stand. Now, Alexander sensed that there was an opportunity here. How quick does he think? He just put the kick in behind the line. Halligan couldn't get there. And the race was always going to be won by the men from the Blue Mountains.
Greg Alexander just loves playing out here in the big games at the Sydney Football Stadium, and he's got a great range of skills. He displayed the pass back on the inside there. He was caught in a tackle when he got it back, but he was able then to revert to his kicking game, put the little one in behind the defence. Carter towed it ahead, and Mackay was there to fall on it for try number 16 for the year.
Yeah, after that first try by Alexander, the Norths have gone into panic mode. They're not defending as consistently as they were earlier. Greg Alexander's exploded late in this match, as he usually does. Flare of brilliance there. Great kick and chase. And we can see that the race is won here by Mackay, and they go to a bigger lead now, 12-0.
Graham Mackay with that try and another vital one before the break. 2 tries in 3 minutes. In fact, in that final replay, you saw about 7 and 8 Norths players all in shot, but nobody got anybody.
They were all around there, but no one got the job done.
Norths will have plenty of time to think. This will be the last bit of action before the break. Phil Gould, the Penrith coach, will be a happy man heading for the dressing rooms. Not so Steve Martin. Alexander to make things even worse for the Bears from out wide. Looking to keep the 100% record going. Here he is at the Sydney beach. Zinc and all. He won't bring this one round, though. He's left it out wide. But the siren sounds for a strong performance from the minor premiers. It is Penrith here at the break. Have the great advantage. 2 converted tries. You add up that field goal and that penalty goal, and it reads 12-0 Penrith over Norths. Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium. We still await the reappearance of both sides. The North Sydney Bears make their way down the tunnel after listening to their coach Steve Martin. Disappointing last 10 minutes. And the disappointment looks to be showing on their faces. Tony Ray, the skipper, it will need a pretty big turnaround in this second half. The way the game was feeling. A few more smiles coming out of the Penrith room. And some brilliant attacking play from them just before the break. Mario Fennick already has a lot of warnings from the referee about some high tackling. That Jarvis, who will go back to the bench after being replaced late in that first half. But it's the minor premiers with the advantage. 12-0 to Penrith over the Bears. Phil Gould shakes his head. I think he would be more than happy with the way his side finished off that first 40. 90 tackles made by the Panthers, Clark with 19 and Dunn with 14, so good work out of the front row. 92 from the Bears, Fennick with 16, Larson 13. As far as the hit-ups are concerned, Dunn is still working heavily there in attack as well, as was Jarvis before replaced. Eddie Ward to signal that there is 40 minutes only left for one of these teams to march into the grand final of 1991. Smith and the Bears, Bill, with a real rev-up needed to change the way this game is shaping.
They had a lot of motivation last week with some comments that Martin Bella had made, but now the lure of a grand final and the emotion around them being in the semi-finals has got to be sufficient. They've got to strike and strike early in this second half.
42 metres out from their own line, the Panthers. Ben Alexander pushed aside one, but then under an avalanche from Jones and Fennick. Vandervoort from dummy half. The marker defence goes to sleep. Alexander stepping, getting it back to Carter. Carter to Izzard. Izzard gets it back to Dunn. Not a good start to the second half.
You picked it with that marker defence. The cracks were appearing in the first half. It's undisciplined and Penrith capitalising.
Alexander kicking behind the defence. Carter chasing. They leave it alone. Halligan and Conlon just looked at each other.
That's a sleepy start for such an important situation.
Maybe the thought of the grand final is worrying the Bears. They've got to get their minds online. And this kick by Greg Alexander, Halligan had a chance at it, so did Conlon. And they nearly paid the penalty of another Penrith try.
It is a turnaround from last week because in that game against Manly, their game stood the pressure of semi-final football. Today, it's not quite there.
Jackson, taken by Dunn. What was said at half-time, Wayne?
Well, Phil Gould asked his side to watch the marker region. He asked for improved marker defence. He also said the main danger man is Peter Jackson. That's obvious, but he wanted more closer attention paid to him. North Sydney coach Steve Martin, he wants his side to stick to the game plan. He felt that they deviated from that in the first half, threw the ball around a bit more than he would have liked, and he asked them to watch their blindside defence.
Smith. Penrith nearly had that early try that might really have put the Bears away. Fittler goes without, leaves it for Dunn. Good tackle from Fennick.
They won't muck around looking for the 1 point either. If they get there, they'll just take it.
Alexander drives it along the ground. I should say Ben Alexander. Now that we've got, or I should say now that Norths have got the headache of having them both out there.
And also the brother-in-law-to-be.
And the brother-in-law-to-be, Mark Geyer. I wouldn't like to be paying the food bills at Mrs. Alexander's place. Congratulations to Mark announcing his engagement.
To Megan?
To Megan Alexander on the eve of this big match.
It's going to be a big couple of weeks for Mark, I think.
Halligan will play it. There's still plenty of pressure on the Bears, who are very bunched. You really can't throw a blanket over them. Ball was thrown forward to Moore. But the Panthers are the ones that get penalised for being inside the 5. Halligan to get them further downfield. Well, they'll look to Peter Jackson, surely the man that got them started so well in the semi against Manly. Somebody from the Bears has got to put their stamp on this major semi-final in attack.
Yeah, they're finding the Penrith defence a little bit tougher than Manly's was.
So now it's Jackson. Across the paddock, put down well. He's lost it. Carter. Easily away from dummy half. Smith. Bears have got to start to put some pressure on Penrith. They're being allowed to get into their own rhythm. Done.
Norths aren't a side that are going to put pressure on you from their own end of the field. Their first priority is field position, then the pressure will come.
Alexander to Fittler. Fittler stepping, beautifully getting it back. Now Alexander. Actually, it was Zurab who came into the line, and Greg Alexander resents the tackle from Martin. Then they finally make up.
Here it is from Zurab, the break. Now he got the pass back to Alexander, who appeared to be facing back towards his own goal line, but Eddie Ward was there.
Soden with an awful ball to Jason Martin. Soden again. Moore running very flat and again putting pressure on the man on the inside, nearly making that one forward. 12-0 to Penrith. Toole upended by Ben Alexander. Fennick. No success down the blind side. David Hall from dummy half. Last tackle. Soden. Taken nicely by Zurab.
Good space.
He goes across the paddock. Unbelievable. If they wanted a rev up, it has been provided by Penrith. The major semi-final and the minor premiers give Norths a chance to climb back. Maybe that will start them. Maybe that'll put a question mark in the minds of the Panthers. He did it so well, catching the ball. On the MMI replay, the intercept was always on. Halligan said thank you with the easiest try that he will score in 1991. He may never score an easier one.
Norths were finding it tough. Things weren't breaking for them, but here a pass that just went horribly wrong, found itself in the hands of Daryl Halligan. He didn't have far to go to cross the try line. Around he went and improved his position, and Norths are on the way back.
Yeah, Zurab's had plenty of experience in first grade this year, but this pass, that was something that no first grader should throw at all. Halligan goes around. Now, he's a goal kicker, so he understandably wants to try and get it closer to the post, so he flirts with the danger there for a minute, but he ends up putting it down safely.
Halligan unsuccessful with his first attempt from about 42 metres out in that first 40 minutes.
And I feel for Tony Zurab.
Well, Steve Martin won't be feeling for him because his side now gets a chance.
It's a game where you've got to take your chances where they come, and Anthony Zurab tried something there. It never came off.
Halligan with this goal, the one that can break the record for the North Sydney Rugby League club that was set back in the 60s by Fred Griffiths. He's got it and the record. What a year for the Bears and Daryl Halligan. They're back in the major semi. It's 12-6. The bruising is still to come. They haven't really added that so far in this major semi, but they've got the incentive.
That's a bonus. They didn't have to work for that one.
The incentive was always there for the early entry to the grand final, but now they get a real smell of it, courtesy of Penrith.
And once you believe, you can do anything.
Ball is lost. Penalty comes. The tide can turn so quickly. This is where Alexander's marshalling of his own troops will be important. He was called to play it. The pressure of the tackle on the shoulder of Barry Walker just pushing it out. I said about Greg Alexander, he's really got to cool his team down. This is the major semi. They were doing it easily. Now he's got to make sure that the frustration and the pressure doesn't lead to any more mistakes.
They've got to be able to overcome that setback and just get their minds back on the track.
And with the spotlight on Anthony Zurab, the replacement fullback, I should point out that Greg Barwick has that hip injury, hasn't responded to any treatment, and he won't be returning in this match.
Great tackle from Geyer on Fennick. Billy Moore. Last tackle against the Bears. Just along the sideline. And it will be left alone. So North's all of a sudden coming to life, along with their fans here at the stadium.
North's enjoyed very little field position in the first 45 minutes, but all of a sudden there's been a shift.
Tony Ray just getting his head down. Eddie Ward wants it put back in again. Same result. Smith taken strongly by Conlon. Also Billy Moore, he was thrown to the ground where the scrum was. Carter. Izzard. Upended. There is the feeling that the Bears can really get back.
Last 5 minutes, this is a different North Sydney team. Just one of those turning points in the game that has broken for them, has lifted them.
Big tackle from Jackson. Clark. Now he's hammered, and the Bears are listening to the roar of the crowd. Alexander with the kick. Looking for the angle to the sideline, but it breaks nicely for Conlon. They show him the sideline. Hall. Trying to dive clear of some tackles. Billy Moore up the middle. Tries to duck through the tackle of Goya. Looked to be a very skinny 5 metres again. Now Ward is trying to get them back, but they look to be trying to sneak offside on the blind. Larson takes it up the middle, last tackle. Ray kicking. Chase is on there for Mackay to get back. Zureb inside him. Nearly burst clear of the tackles. Halligan was hanging on along with Jason Martin. Now there's real pressure in this major semi. Alexander to Clark, he was standing flat-footed.
Phil Gould's done a great job with Penrith this year. He had them believing they could win the competition without Fittler and Geyer when they were injured, but now they've got them back. That's a bonus. But he's going to have some big decisions to make here about replacements in this second half.
He's already made some in the first, so there's pressure on the bench there. This one goes against Tony Ray, stealing the ball in the tackle.
Here it is. There's the tackle made on Van der Voort. He started to try to get to his feet quickly to play the ball, but Ray rolled him over and the ball jolted loose.
Alexander still trying to cool this side down. The crowd has really set up a roar now, and a good crowd too. 38,635. Done. Clark. Vandervoort without it. Ben Alexander goes back to the blind side. If Hall had been watching the ball and not the man, he had the intercept. He was determined to stop them in defence. Now Geyer went through as a decoy. Some of the North players claiming a shepherd. Alexander. Trapped, down, not finished off. He looked at Ward, he stopped. Carter, quick hands. This time it's knocked down by Hall. Was he offside? Now was Lorimer in front of Hall? The ball was definitely knocked down, but was this man in an offside position?
The ball knocked down, Florimo there to pick it up. Now there's the pass from Geyer. It's gone forward. Hall was the man that put his hand on it. I thought Florimo came from behind.
That replay didn't really show it.
No, I thought Florimo was definitely offside. I saw it as it happened, and he was definitely in an offside position.
Well, you're in good position, Wayne, and our replay wasn't clear. I'll go with you.
Alexander. Again, to give them some comfort zone, I should say. They really do need it. Steve Carter has cast a plate. 2 from 3 for Greg Alexander. Vital kick in this major semi. He handles it beautifully. The Panthers edge away. More work coming for the Bears. 14-6. Halligan's try got the Bears well and truly into it. But now they have to produce a tremendous effort again. They have miles of time. 25 minutes remain in the major semi. Zureb. Right on the 22. Walker. Taken by Moore. Seems to be a lot more life into the North Sydney defence, into their whole game.
And Peter McPhail making that tackle, Graham. He has replaced Gary Larson.
Geyer.
Out wide, running at the little men.
They did a good job to tie him up. Now, was this one stolen? If it was, it's crazy play. It had gone on that long. Or was it, in fact, just left alone? Ray had a hand on it. Martin seemingly had a hand on it. Two penalties that, in the end, might punish them severely. Stealing the ball. They were just starting to get their own advantage in general play. Mackay. Straight across field. Those penalties are 8-6 to Penrith. Geyer. Played little football leading up to the semi-final. Carrying a bad ankle injury that some thought would have stopped him from playing in the semis altogether. Izzard loses it. So the Bears will come back. Now there's a penalty that's gone for North Sydney that I'm still trying to work out.
Can only be obstruction.
Halligan kicks for the sideline. This might work it out.
Oh, offside. There's the offside. Zureb involved himself in the play trying to make a tackle on Soden.
Jones. The Bears needing another try. Toole. He needed some support on his outside. They've been left alone, the forwards. 14-6 to Penrith. Billy Moore had to stop for the pass. A number of times they've gone wide. They have looked flat in attack, the Bears. Florimo. He's one who can certainly inject something. Here's the other. Jackson to Conlon. Last tackle. Jackson calls for it. Looking for the bomb. Away it goes. Alexander loses it. They got 6 more. Now there is a real chance for the Bears now. Jones. Soden. Losing his balance just for a second. Right in front of the posts. Ray marshals the troops. Goes to Fennick. He sets it up. Tries to turn his back and unload, but he's wrapped up. 8 metres out. Penrith. Trying to hang on out wide. The kick. Hall's coming. Zureb's there. Zureb's too late. They get it. The Bears make a second comeback. Soden on the MMI replay, and Jackson drawing the defence up quickly. Hall comes over. Zureb hesitated.
Thank heavens for in-goal touch, judges. We'll see why in a moment, but Jackson put the ball through in behind the defensive line. Zurab waited it for the bob up. If it was going to go dead on its own, it wasn't. Hall got it down and the in-touch judge was able to adjudicate.
Yeah, great thinking here from Peter Jackson. He saw that there was a big gap in behind the line. It obviously communicated with his men out wide. Zurab tried to cover this ball up rather than force it dead. He flirted with danger and David Hall took the try.
And they celebrate in a big way. He who hesitates is lost. David Hall didn't hesitate at all. He grabs a try. The Bears, the fans in this big crowd on their feet. Halligan with the kick from out wide. One from two for Halligan. Zurab involved in both tries scored by Norths. He should have gone for the ball. Halligan to again get them within 2 points, but no. They're well and truly alive, though, North Sydney, in this hunt for the grand final, 14-10. Alexander now. Once more, he will have to get this side settled. The Bears always coming from behind. Makes it difficult. They get a penalty. The markers were too quickly out of there. They dashed off before the ball was even played. Now, the Bears, some sloppy play, but they pick it up, 6 more tackles.
And you talk about Anthony Zurab, Graham. I mean, one's got to wonder whether or not you've got to bring him off. His confidence is obviously shot at this stage. There's plenty of fresh replacements sitting on the bench, including Cole Bentley. I really think it's a matter of bringing him off because he can't possibly lift himself from here.
It's been a tough learning experience for him in this second half. He must have so much on his mind, but he's there because he's been a good talent all season long for them.
North Sydney have gone up tempo. They're doing things a metre or two faster than they were.
Last tackle. Bombs away again. More pressure for the young man. Here they come, the Bears. Zurab fumbles it. Chance. Florimo. North Sydney have them at 6s and 7s. The minor premiers are stopping. Soden. Martin, head down, inches away. Penrith back to their own line. The dummy from McPhail doesn't work. They hold their line. Jackson standing wide. So the defence up very quickly. They're really forcing them back up the middle. Now Martin to Jackson. Jackson up the middle. Jackson standing, trapped, taken by Dunn. He's made a lot of tackles throughout this major semi. Billy Moore fumbles it just as they were on the boil. It wasn't a good pass, it was too low. Carter taken, put to ground. Is this the period, Bill, that you worry about? Not enough football. Did they have the right lead up to this major semi-final? They had 2 last round matches. Penrith, one was a win against Balmain 41-12, the other was 42-8 over East.
It's well documented that Norths have gone into the game with a better preparation because of the side of the draw they're on, the hard games they've had. Penrith have missed a week. The Panthers have got a lot of things going against them. It's going to take a lot of natural talent, which they've got, to get away with this.
They start to dig deep, the minor premiers. Greg Alexander, who always holds the key for them. The kick down to Conley.
And a change for Penrith, Graham. Anthony Zurab is off the paddock and he's been replaced by Roy Simmons.
We'll have to watch for the positional changes at the moment. As Zurab goes back to the bench, Greg Alexander goes to fullback.
And Ben to halfback and Royce to hooker.
Alexander has spent a lot of time there in that position for this Penrith club. Billy Moore on the fringe. That's better support. Jackson, where's the support for him? He beats Alexander easily. He gets it out for Hall. Hall gets a double. What a try! Look out! That 69-year wait, it might be over. What great support play. The MMI replay. We only just gave you a shot of Alexander dropping to fullback. Jackson took him on. He had plenty of room, brushed him aside. He looked over the top. He got a great ball away under pressure. And Hall, he started the game from the bench. He ends up with 2 tries.
One of those magic moments in rugby league. It started there with a pass into a hole for Billy Moore, who was able to slide free, get the ball up to Jackson. He had to take Alexander on, and he did that and got away from him. Hall loomed up in support, and what a day this is in his life. He's going to remember this one. He takes the pass and a clear passage to the try line.
The Bears, more than alive in the major semi through David Hall, courtesy of Peter Jackson. Alexander is dazed. Their team is stunned. The minor premiers were in total control at the break at half-time. Now, they seem to have fumbled that key we talked about. It's not fitting the lock to that door to the grand final. Halligan, this one, to break it right open, to give the Bears the lead. Again, he leaves it out wide. It was a superb display from him last week. Not so. It's 14 all. Steve Martin, who really is sending out those messages now, and it's working for his team.
It was to this day last year when Canberra played Penrith. Final score 12 all. We went into extra time and it finished up a 30-12 victory for Penrith and straight into the grand final.
Florimo. There might be those that are thinking, though, Bill, with this rusty nature in their game in the second half especially, they might need next week's hitter. Fenwick Millie gets away.
Well, they might need it, but you prefer to know that you're in the grand final.
Both these teams have kicked 5 field goals this year. There's 13 minutes remaining, and it's well and truly field goal time.
You'll note that Cole Bentley is out there as well. He's replaced Ben Alexander.
So, now Alexander was heavily concussed. He needs support. He gets it, and he climbs up well.
And breathes a sigh of relief.
They bring it away, the Panthers. 14 all in the major semi-final. Bentley plays it, and he tries to milk it for the penalty. He gets away with it. Now that's one that you can argue either way.
Well, I couldn't. I thought it had to be a penalty.
They get it. McPhail, the man in question for Norths. Alexander with a good touch finder too, driving it deep.
And how long do they take to set for the 1 point?
Simmons to Mackay. So they head straight infield. Simmons drives the forwards. Straight down the middle. The Bears stood back and waited.
The North Sydney Markets will have to work overtime here.
Now it's Walker. They go away from the post. Geyer floats it for Smith out wide. They look for the try. They had it midfield if they wanted to set for a field goal. They still might. Geyer goes back to the blind side and Paul Smith. Couple of tackles remaining. Carter shows it. Tries to get it around the back. Does it go back? It does. Alexander looked at the referee. Looked as if he was waiting for a decision. Now, there's a penalty. Eddie Ward is calling a couple of Bears over who have had plenty to say. A warning to Conlon about being sent off for back-chatting. Now the penalty going against McPhail. Alexander will have to go for goal to break it. The crowd more than upset with the decision. This is the reason why. Alexander taken, put down. McPhail finishing him off too late, I would think Eddie Ward is saying. That's all I could pick it for.
Too late it is.
We'll have to run with the referee.
It's a crucial one.
Yeah, there wasn't much in it.
It looked like plenty of tackles that you see about every weekend. Alexander, 3 from 4. His kicking is the difference at the moment. The scores are locked together, but Halligan hasn't been able to put the chances over. Again, Alexander handles the pressure from the crowd to put his minor premiers in front, 16-14. Phil Gould, a very concerned coach now, but his side are still showing that solid character. The major semi certainly alive, as is this Sydney Football Stadium, with just under 9 minutes remaining. Walker. The Bears with the 3 tries to 2 advantage, but at the moment it doesn't say anything for them. Carter getting it to Fittler. Alexander in the line. No one at home at fullback if there's any mistake. Done. So who's it going to be that goes back to the preliminary final next week to take on Canberra? You'll see it all on 10 Sport. The game in full, 6 p.m.
It'll be the team that controls the ball best in the next 8 minutes.
Conlon, right back on his line. Good chasing from Penrith. Conlon, just about threw it away to Halligan. Now he does the job from dummy half. (16-14). Fennick playing. Billy Moore. The opposition half, the Bears have had it for 56 tackles. Penrith only 28. The kick. And a good roll for North Sydney. Alexander. Back to Smith. He had nowhere to go. This is where Norths have really got to pile it on. They've got to force the error from Penrith. Simmons, someone's got to go looking for a charge down. They need some of their little men, the market area, to put the pressure on. Ball was stolen. Ball was stolen. Geyer gets up correctly and says it wasn't any of my doing. Eddie Ward has missed it. There was a little hand in there from Turl that just pushed it out. Should have been a penalty. Penrith go without it. So do the Bears. They've got 6 minutes to climb into their first grand final since 1943.
Hang on to your hat.
Billy Moore will play it just outside the 22. Martin. To the back line. Jackson. Standing. Looking for runners. He's got Soden. Can they find the way through? Can they find that path to the grand final of 1991? Jones throws himself at the line.
They'd have to fancy their chances in extra time, Norths, if they could get a penalty.
Last tackle. Bombs away once more out wide. Smith's there. And Smith has got it. Conlon went in with a punch. Wasn't needed at all. They still had Penrith down here under pressure.
Smith did well here. He went up for the ball, got it off Conlon, was able to wrap it up, and frustration got the better of Conlon after that.
Time running out, getting down as we hit the last 5 minutes.
And another replacement for North Sydney, John MacArthur taking the field for Billy Moore.
The Panthers get it to just outside the 22. Done. 16-14. Clark. Simmons calling for runners through the forwards. Vandervoort gets there. Now Geyer hitting the advantage line. Very close to being forward. Walker up the middle. Walker dragged down 40 metres out from the North Sydney line. Alexander kicking. Halligan lost it for a second. Taken and dragged out over the sideline. Penalty. 4 minutes to go. Halligan looked to be tackled, and Eddie Ward said, "I call in the play." Adrian Toole. They've just got to keep going wide now, the Bears. They need the break.
When you look up and you've got 70 metres to go to score the try, it is a long way, and that man probably wishes it was a lot further, Phil Gould, but Norths need an individual break here. They've got to get some field position.
Florimo was looking to be the one, but he was dragged down by Bentley. Jackson. They get into Penrith territory. Still a long, long way to go. McPhail getting it to Hall. The Panthers are offside. Halligan will have a kick at goal. 3 minutes to go. And the man who's done it all season long for Norths has not been on his game today. He will be their last chance, probably.
And if he kicks it, we go into extra time, and that'll be 10 minutes each way. Assuming no one else scores after him.
What a sensational weekend of finishes to the semi-finals. Hall had put the ball down, but Ward had got them for being offside.
Whatever happened to Dow semi-final football?
We got rid of it. Mind you, the first half didn't suggest the drama of this. 1 from 4 for Halligan. All season long we've been saying 4 from 4 about this stage of any game.
They were down 12-0.
This kick with 120 seconds left in the major semi-final to send us probably to overtime, unless there's any further miracles. Nearly 39,000 at the stadium. Hold your breath. No! So it's not Halligan's day, and it might not be the Bears' day. 16-14, Penrith over the Bears. Norths will get the ball back.
Put that miss down to nothing else but pressure.
Eddie Ward trying to get Penrith started. Back to Soden on his own 22. Have we got anything left in this major semi? Fenning. 60 seconds. Adrian Toole. It will be this set of 6 or not at all. Jackson. Jackson behind a runner, all tied up. The Bears nowhere to go at the moment. MacArthur, Florimo. Florimo trying to get to the outside. Last tackle. What can they do? 30 seconds only. Kicking to open spaces. Hall. Hall looking for a hat-trick. Hall and Alexander. Alexander gets there, and he will get back to the field of play brilliantly. That'll be it. They'll lock it up from here, the minor premiers, but they've had a scare and a half. And there'll be the thought that maybe the Panthers may not really have the comfort of a fortnight's break. They needed a hard one today. They certainly got it. Time is up by our clock. Right on time, there it goes. Phil Gould gets into another grand final and shows the winner's grin. They got to the line, but they folded to the line in the end. Maybe a lot of it was their own doing. But this Penrith club have had to wait from 1967 when they joined the league. And now it is 2 grand finals in a row, and Royce Simmons, the club legend out west, will have an opportunity to bow out in the grand final. Mark Geyer thinks about the dreams of a Winfield Cup as well. And the minor premiers go through. A sore head for their captain, Greg Alexander, but he played a pretty big role in the win for them. 16-14 to the minor premiers. Greg Alexander the try, Mackay a try, Alexander 4 goals. That was it, the goal kicking. Halligan a try, Hall a double. For North's Halligan, only the 1 from 5. 16-14. Plenty of disappointment for Jackson. Consoled by Geyer. The winners and the losers.